Hey, darling.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Um, it's Hannah, Hannah Alexandra Harris, but I go by Layla.
Layla.
Have been for about 7 to 9 years now as a working girl slash escort.
And tell me about your childhood. You grew up where?
I grew up I grew up a little bit everywhere in Southern California. Inland, outskirts, by the beach. I was really mostly home alone with my brother, or we were at school. And if we weren't at school, we were home alone. My mom was not around. We didn't have a dad. He had a dad, but he was, further away. And he didn't see him. So we were mostly just my brother and I, just kind of kicking it and growing up with each other, taking care of one another.
How would you describe your childhood in general?
It was really shitty. But it was great when him and I were together. We were best friends, so we kept each other afloat. I learned a lot through him by having to buckle up, and take responsibility.
Any abuse in your childhood?
A lot of mental abuse, emotional abuse. There's been some physical abuse here and there, but yes, there's abuse in my family. There's abuse in my life for sure.
Yeah.
But I got through it.
You graduated high school?
I almost graduated high school. I ended up having to drop out in 11th grade to take care of my brothers slash children. I did go back and go to adult school to get my GED, and I did pass, and I did get my GED at the age of 19. So I dropped out of 11th grade when I was 17, and then I got my GED when I was 19.
So today you're here on Skid Row, you're working the street.
Skid Row, right? After I got my GED, I got my CNA certificate, license, whatever you want to say, whatever, and I went straight to work. I went to school and I went straight to work. So I've always been really busy. I've always been a very busy little bee, and so.
How old are you?
I'm 32. October 15th, 1989, by the state of California.
Drugs became into the picture somewhere?
Okay, so my mother was never home. She was in the adult, industry, so to speak, trying to work her way up in there. So and we knew it, but we didn't, whatever. But so she would come home and she'd be real, all sloth and fucked up and shit.
She was doing what for a living?
But she was just trying to live. She was trying to stay alive. I look back on it now. She's trying to stay alive. She wasn't all fucked up because she wanted to be fucked up. She was a piece of shit. She was fucked up because she had to be fucked up because she was trying to live. I see things in two different ways.
What was your mom doing for work?
She was a stripper, and then she had an escorting business, and then she worked out of home. It was an apartment, and then we got a home in Mount Helix or something like that. And it was a really big, beautiful home. And she got engaged, and she had her own office in there, glass doors and everything. It was really cool. It was bitching. And she would come, and she was still stripping too. She was doing all of it. She was doing the whole nine. It was really cool. Because she'd come home with bags of money. It was cool to see her, rise. Because we grew up poor. We were really poor. So poor we couldn't afford poor we were po. And so it was cool to see that it didn't last long. Every summer I'd go to my grandmother's, my brother would go to his dad's, and she would be alone, and do her own thing. And I would be with my grandmother, and my brother would be with his dad. And my brother and his dad, they cliff jumped, and he was around alcohol and drugs more than I was at the time. I was around my grandmother, who's very reserved, proper, very just like queen, so to speak. Very, very clean, very perfect, and just wanted me to just be, great in everything I did. And I wanted to be that for her too. But and I was trying. I was doing really good at trying and doing it. But she died, and when she died, I flipped the bitch, so to speak. And I started drinking a lot and doing a lot of things I wouldn't usually do. Because before I would just smoke a little bit of weed, maybe. And I was just hanging out with my friends, drink coffee. You know, everyone did everything they wanted to do. I didn't do nothing. I was literally, I was just square. But I kicked it with everyone who did everything, you know. And but then she passed away, and I started experimenting with a lot of things. I did everything underneath the sun except for acid. I didn't want to do acid because I couldn't control it. I like to control things. I like to control anything I put in my body. So I got real into alcohol, though. I became kind of a functional alcoholic, so to speak. I would go to work, couldn't get off work, drink, fall asleep, wake up, eat a little bit, go to work, drink. You know, it just became a repetitive thing. So I was becoming a functional alcoholic, actually, and I got into some trouble. I was blacking out from it, and I was driving. And one night, I blacked out and I hit something. And I don't know what I hit. So I just remember it just flashed, you know, just like, you know, something happened. I don't know. It felt like a light switch turned off, you know, and then turned back on. And I remember like seeing a semi and me bending over like this and like, what the fuck is going on? I was on the wrong side of the road, and then turned off again. And I was in the car and I was driving. I was driving to my house where I was paying for a room I roommated with. And I grabbed 2 beers and I go to my baby daddy's, who wasn't my baby daddy at the time. He was just someone I was seeing. And I knocked on his door and he came to the door. It was taking forever, and my face was fucked up because I just got into a car accident. I know my face was fucked up. I could feel the burn, you know, but I was like, let's pound some beers and fuck, you know. I knocked on the door, he was answering, and then he finally answered. When he answered, he came to the door, and it's a quilt. He was butt naked, but he came to the door in a quilt, like as if he was like a king or something. It was the weirdest thing ever. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, I got some beer. Totally alert, you know, but totally incoherent at the same time. And he's like, what the heck happened? I was like, my car crashed. He's like, what? He's like, get inside. And I got inside. And when I got inside, he went outside. He's like, your face, what the fuck? He's like, what the, just like that, what the fuck? He's all, get in my room, get in my bed. And he went and he hit the car. He went and took the car and hit it. Because, I mean, there's pieces of my phone flew out. You know, it was only a piece of my phone. The whole fender was just, you know.
What did you hit?
I don't know what I hit. I think I hit a semi, or a semi hit me, or I hit something white. Or something hit me. I'm really thinking something hit me. But, you know.
But you never found out.
I never found out.
You didn't kill anybody.
I didn't kill anybody. There's been some weird stuff with that whole scenario, that whole situation, because he ended up hiding the car, and they were gonna go and toss it and strip it and all kinds of stuff. I was like, no, I'll just sell it to Pick and Pull and get $240 for it. Fuck it. You know, someone will want it. And they can pull the pieces out for it or whatever. So that's what we did instead. But so I got rid of it. It was a red Honda DX, you know. And what was weird about when I got the car, originally I had an Audi, and my shifting went out. My stick shifts. I had a death wish one night. I was trying to drink and driving a lot, right? I was doing bad things, and I stopped myself, and I punished myself and consequented myself and everything. But anyways, the clutch went out, and when the clutch went out, I had to sell it because I was already putting too much money into it. I was like, fuck this shit. More money put into this shit, like, fuck this shit. So I ended up selling that, getting the money from that, and getting this red Honda. Well, as soon as I started buying cars, I noticed the cars I was buying were always something wrong with them as soon as I got them. This red Honda, the brakes would slip. So I'd be at a light, and I had my brakes on, but it was such a slip. I'd have to pump my brake just to stay still, or else I'd start to go during a red light. You know, or as if my brakes were to be cut and slipped and I was going to die. Like someone was trying to kill me is what it was feeling like. And so every car I got, something was going on. And it, like, as if I had like a little like gremlin underneath my car trying to like, it was literally kill me. And it was the craziest thing. So I had to stop driving for a while because I was drinking and driving, and that was happening, and so on and so forth. So my baby daddy ended up being my baby daddy. You know, we ended up having kids, and I got my nipples pierced. I got fucked up, blacked out, got my nipples pierced, and then I ended up at his house again, and then he's like, fuck this shit. Put a baby in me, and I took the nipple piercings out like a month later because I found I was pregnant, and boom, we made a family. And then that was a really dark relationship too. Went through a lot of stuff, and that's when the drugs came into play mostly.
So you eventually went to harder drugs?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
different drugs than alcohol?
I started making, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are your drugs today?
I don't do drugs. I'm kidding. I do fentanyl and I do cavi.
Those are drugs.
Those are drugs today to everyone's knowledge. Yes, they are. But if I were to say it in any way, if I can say it anyway, I believe the only kind of drug that really is in this world is methamphetamine. You know, I've learned that methamphetamine is a man-made drug, you know, and it's probably one of the most dangerous drugs that I've come across because I've done it one time and it was Puda, you know, it was the real stuff and it made me feel like Superman. I felt like I could lift a car and I didn't want to do nothing else but smoke that and fuck and lift cars and steal. I wanted to do all of that because I wanted to get away with it. It felt like no one could catch me. You know, and I did it for 3 days, and 2 or 3 days, and in those 2 or 3 days, I was like, we gotta get some more. And my baby daddy's like, check the pipe, wrapped it up, pressure. He's like, we're not gonna do this again. We never did it again, but I know he did. I know he did. I was doing other things, but
You have kids?
him and I, we have kids. We had a beautiful, two beautiful baby boys.
So I'm sorry. How many children do you have?
I don't know, to be honest. But to my knowledge, I had 2 baby boys. But I was also a surrogate mother. I got some discharge paper from the hospital, and I learned I was a surrogate mother. And I've been making money this whole time with some other stuff. And I learned I was terminally ill, a cancer patient, and I was also helping the Cancer Society. But I'm also dying really badly, and there's nothing that could help me. And basically, everyone was out for my life because I ended up being a lot of money. I have money. I have a lot of money, and I don't have anybody that can help me with it. So
You owe a lot of money?
no, I have a lot.
You have a lot of money.
I have a lot of money. The state keeps on sending the same check over and over.
So you have a lot of money, but you're here on Skid Row working the streets?
I'm trying to find somebody I can trust. Because I haven't found anybody I can trust any other way. No suburban way, no regular way, no community, no where else. I'm just trying different ways, and I'm also going through it. I'm going through a lot of things. I went through. I'm in a relationship, an open relationship, and some stuff went down with us. And
Where are you staying now?
right now, I could be staying anywhere. I could be staying in Hollywood in my apartment. I have an apartment in Hollywood, my own apartment, but a lot of stuff went down there. Someone's trying to kill me. Seriously, I'm not joking. I wish it was a joke. I wish at the end of all this we'd be like, we got you. But there's some serious stuff going on in my life, and I don't know what to do about it.
Why do you think someone's trying to kill you?
Because I can feel it, and I've seen it. I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to see what's killing me, and I can see them, and they're people. They don't have a clue of what they're doing. They're just doing things by what someone else says, you know. It's like they're doing things to people they can't see. So it has to be some kind of blind community or deaf community or something weird. I don't know. But I'm also an arbitrary instructor, by the way. I did that when I've been doing that for a long time.
You're a what?
Arbitrary instructor.
What is an arbitrary instructor?
It has a lot with decoding and learning what was really read in between the lines of all paperwork, and we're all given, you know, our birth certificates and our social securities and our names and everything, and we just go, oh, this is our stuff, you know. We don't research it or anything, you know what I mean? Like, we don't get to know who we are, but we're so much more. All of us are all important, and we have many other things that we do in our lives that we don't have to be all in Skid Row. The Skid Row doesn't have to be Skid Row like this. It really doesn't. You know, is what I'm saying. There's 3 things to anything that resolves everything in anyone's life. Seriously.
What's your biggest regret in your life?
Leaving. Always leaving.
Leaving your children?
Never left my children. I've never left my children. My children and I were ripped apart by society and broadcasted. It was really fucked up. I had a lot of dark in my life. I'm trying to give you the dark, happy version. I'm trying to...
What's the hardest thing for you to deal with or look at?
Pictures. I'm afraid of looking at pictures on someone. I haven't seen my kids in 9 years. Not because I'm a bad mom, but because we were more endangering together as a family to the community. But the community was more endangering to us as a family and individually. So they had the upper hand on us, but we tried to save them first before us. And we were still separated. And we still haven't seen each other.
What's your biggest fear now?
People. When I was young, someone said, not every stranger is danger. So I had an optimistic view of people, you know what I mean?
But you work in the street, you're meeting some of
I'm a realist.
the most dangerous people out there, probably.
I'm a realist. I'm with the shit, the poo, the do, all of it. I got it on, I know it. To the top, to the middle, to the bottom. I know all of what people are. And no one can look me in the eye and tell me something that I don't know anymore. And I guess I earned that, and I didn't know that somebody can earn something like that, and it's not something that anybody can really be earned unless you are trying to be removed your whole life, and someone recognizes that, I guess. But I give people the benefit of the doubt still to this day. I can know anything I want about them, but instead, I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I get to know them before I want to dig up anything. If I want to dig up anything, and I don't ever dig for anything. I don't dig for nothing, ever, and I never will. No, I never will.
Layla, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Having children is not the answer to everything. It's not the cherry on top of everything. It's encouragement. It's crazy.
Did you raise your kids?
For 5 years I did, and then we were ripped apart. Illegally, legally, with a lot of love from the authority. And they're my most raised eyebrow now is the authority, you know? I have a really crazy life. That's nothing, you know. It's so much. It's nothing, but it's, you know, it's something. You know, but there's so much more. So much more.
What are you not telling me?
Because it's gonna go on for forever. There's so many things. There's so many, like. If I told you, that's not even half. It's like a sliver. You know. I came from Vegas, and so much happened in Vegas, and I was alone in Vegas. You know. Before now, it's just me. There's no one. Just me, myself, and I. No kids, no boyfriend, no baby daddy, no nothing. Just me working the streets in the snow, the rain, the cold, the everything by myself in a trench coat. I mean, like doing the damn thing, and you know, working. I mean, I worked through Oakland even. I mean, I was just doing it. You know, it was crazy, but I was putting myself in really dangerous situations. But I was being taken care of also by an angel or something because I should have died so many times.
What's been your darkest point of your life?
Love at first sight. Mm-hmm. Love at first sight. Darkest.
Your situation now seems pretty bleak.
I don't talk about.
All right. Layla, thank you very much for sharing some of your story.
Sorry. You're welcome.
Be careful out there.